What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Nobody really wants to coach the Lakers. Nobody wants to coach the Lakers at all. And I say that with conviction. Shaq made some dumb comments about he would coach him for $25 million a year. But I mean, that's just Shaq being goofy like he always is. But coaches don't even make $25 million a year, I don't think. But I mean, and if there is, there's a very few that does. So that's the problem. I don't think nobody wants to coach the Lakers because it's just a mess with this team. And there's too much drama going on. And coaching the Lakers come with too much responsibility. And the responsibility it comes with is if you don't live up to expectations, if you don't coach to the certain standard that they feel like you should, and, ultimately the team is like, the number 1 seed, or number 5 seed or something like that, or just a playoff team, you're going to take the blame for everything. And the way this team is constructed right now, they might actually have a season just like this past season. They haven't made any changes. They haven't found a way to trade Russell Westbrook. A lot of people believe Russell Westbrook is coming back. LeBron James is getting old. He's still a drama queen. Anytime something goes wrong, you're going to get blamed for everything because, it's LeBron James on the team. Everybody gets blamed. Everybody else can get fired except him. And that's just the way it is when you coaching LeBron James. And it's not easy to coach somebody like him. It really isn't because, first of all, he's one of those diva type superstars that gets his way on everything and has a say-so in everything that goes on with the organization. And him being one of the faces or the face of the league still, that's extra attention that comes to him and a lot less attention that comes to you as a coach of being the head guy of the team. It's like a coach that coaches LeBron never runs the team. It's like LeBron is the one that runs the team. It's like LeBron is the one that is coaching the team. And you're just getting paid to sit there with a nice suit on to look like you're actually being a coach. And your say-so never overrides his. And that's what it always comes down to when you coach LeBron James. Not unless you're somebody like Ty Lue or somebody like that, because Ty Lue doesn't take nothing from anybody. He does it his way. And that's just the way it is. Ty Lue has told LeBron to shut the hell up at times when he was on Cleveland because Ty Lue is just that type of person. He doesn't go by the so-called rules of a team that LeBron runs. He goes by his own rules. And that's the reason why, Ty Lue has a lot of respect around the league because he'll go at players if need be to make his point. And not a lot of coaches have that backbone. And then on top of that, when you think about it, to me personally, if they're not going to give somebody like Mark Jackson an opportunity to coach this team who has been a good coach in this league before and hasn't had an opportunity in a long time, I don't really think they're going to find anybody else because I don't think Nick Nurse is leaving Toronto to come to the Lakers. He might, don't get me wrong, it's possible, but I don't see that. The owner and the president of Toronto Raptors is going to do everything in his power to make that not happen probably. And then on top of that, the other candidates like Doc Rivers and people like that, I don't see Doc Rivers leaving his situation. I don't see it. I mean, it's possible, of course, but I don't see him leaving the situation because it's a lot less drama where he is, and he has 2 dynamic players in James Harden and Joel Embiid. And if they're healthy, they can at least make it to a finals. They have the capability of doing that with all the pieces that they have there. The Danny Greens, Tyrese Maxey, they still have Tobias Harris. You see what I'm saying? They still got a pretty adequate team there. The Lakers team is just a mess because you don't know what you have. You don't know how worse Russell Westbrook is going to come back this year, or if he's going to, play even better, play a little bit better than he did last year, or continue doing the same thing. You don't know if LeBron James' age is going to start showing this upcoming season. Anthony Davis is never healthy. So it's like, why leave a situation coaching players like that to come to a unknown situation like the Lakers and not know what the outcome is going to be, because you don't know what you have in none of your players. And the other players on the bench of the Lakers are so old They can't defend anybody. They can't stop anybody. I mean, look, listen to this. They're talking about Austin Reeves and players like that, being like, good players on the Lakers in the future and things like that. That says very little about your organization if you're trying to win a championship. If you're looking at a player like Austin Reeves as one of the main guys on the team to be one of the focal points. And they were saying that throughout the season some. And it's like, if you're down to a guy like that on your roster with your superstars playing, with your superstars on the floor, and he's one of the names you mentioned on the Lakers, that shows you how low the Lakers are. Austin Reeves is a really good player. I like him. But with LeBron James and the rest of them on the floor, you shouldn't even hear anything about a player like that. The only reason why you heard about the backups and the guys on the bench on the Clippers playing this season because their superstars wasn't there. That's the reason why you heard about those players, and those players had a coming out party. But with LeBron and all them on the floor, you shouldn't even hear about players like Austin Reeves, because it should be about the big three that they have and the championship aspirations they have. And I don't think Austin Reeves is going to help them win a championship. So this is my point. The team is in shambles. And Magic Johnson, Colin Cowherd, anybody you can think of has chimed in on this team, and everybody pretty much has the same opinion. They're screwed. They don't really have anything that any coach can say, I can go there and really build something with this team. I can make this team so much better. You're not going to, because if they keep the same roster, this team is not going to be better next year, I don't believe. This team is going to be the same team they are this year. And matter of fact, it's a possibility they could be a little bit worse, because LeBron and the rest of the old guys on the Lakers are going to be a little bit older. So it's like, to me, it's a lose-lose situation for any coach that tries to go and coach the Lakers, because the Lakers just doesn't have anything promising for the future. As I said, LeBron is old. Russell Westbrook is like 33, 34. He don't have that quick step like he used to. He's a turnover machine. You can't win championships with him because his IQ is piss poor. And Anthony Davis, he's too injury prone. And the only reason why they got that championship because they was in the bubble. And Anthony Davis had 4 months off to rest his bum knees, his bum ankle, and his bum body. And they pulled a championship off because Anthony Davis finally stayed healthy for a decent period of time. And Anthony Davis can do that for a decent period of time. But a whole 82-game season and going to the playoffs, he hasn't done that in his career yet, I don't believe. So, it's just not going to work. Not unless they make some transitions and make some moves. This is the reason why I said I don't see no coach really wanting to or being excited about going to LA, because there's nothing to be excited for. And then you hear these reports about, LeBron and Clutch Sports and the riff he has with Rob Pelinka in the office and all this stuff. And, it's just a mess in LA right now. It really is. You know what I'm saying? Then you also hear reports about LeBron, of course, wanting to play with his son, possibly going back to Cleveland and all these other things. It's like the team is not together. And to me, if you're a head coach, you don't want to go coach a team that's really not together, that has a lot of drama with it, because you're going to get thrown under the bus 99% of the time. Look what happened to Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel got blamed pretty much for everything that this team was going through. Everything. Because LeBron can't take no blame. Anthony Davis doesn't take no blame. Nobody takes accountability for anything on this team. So who would really want to coach them? Who wants to go through the hell of coaching this team when this team is very discombobulated and they're ran by an old superstar who's making decisions, who really is just pat statting right now? LeBron is putting up all these good numbers, but what do they mean if you're not winning anything? This team didn't even make the play-in tournament. How do you have LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and all those backup pieces, Carmelo and all them, and can't even make a play-in tournament? The play-in tournament is allowed. A 10th seed, a 9th seed, I believe, can make a play-in tournament. A 9th seed, I believe. So, a 10th seed, I think it's actually up to the 10th seed, right? If you can go that low in the standings and still have a possible chance to make it to the playoffs, the Lakers should at least been good enough to do that. The Clippers were good enough to do it. They didn't have Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. Hell, if they had one of them the whole season, they probably would have been in the 5th seed. You see what I'm saying? So it's like who? That's what I'm saying. Who really wants this coaching job? Unless the Lakers make some trades and some changes, then I think a coach should definitely consider it. Because honestly, leaving the situation any of those coaches, those candidates are in right now to go to this team would be a mistake. Because even though Nick Nurse is on a team with Toronto with just Pascal Siakam and Freddie VanVleet, they made the play-in tournament. They were in the dance. They won't sit in the home when the play-in tournament started. They won't sit in the home, when the playoffs were here. That's what I'm saying. They made it. They were in there. Look at Doc Rivers. Of course, his team, Philadelphia, is good anyway. They're in the playoffs. And like I said, if Joel Embiid and Harden can stay healthy, they can possibly make an NBA Finals. So, now even though Joel is hurt right now, but pending on health and everything, they can make an NBA Finals because they got some good pieces. Tobias Harris, as I said, they still got Danny Green, and Tyrese Maxey has turned into the player that they actually needed. You see what I'm saying? So, why leave that situation to come to the Lakers with an unknown situation where the superstar and LeBron is just getting old and can't carry a team anymore? So why leave the 76ers? There's no need. So Doc Rivers might as well stay where he is. You see what I'm saying? So what is the point of going there? And then there's even some off the wall reports that Ty Lue, might be considering the Lakers or something like that, which is far fetched, I believe. So, why would Ty Lue go there with nothing but discombobulation where he's in a place where he just got to get his two superstars to stay healthy and they're good enough to win a championship? Based upon what we saw this year, they were good enough to make the play-in tournament with neither one of their superstars. So if they have both of them, they're the most scariest team in the NBA. So, this is what I'm saying. No coach out there should really consider. And even Mark Jackson, Mark Jackson is a commentator. The last time he coached was the Warriors. He put that Warriors team together and they were winning. They were starting to ascend and they would have won the same amount of championships, I believe, with Mark Jackson as they would have, or as they did with Steve Kerr, I believe. So, he's definitely a good coach. He definitely knows how to eye his talent. He definitely knows how to put pieces together. And he's definitely a good vocal leader, for a team. And the good thing is with Mark Jackson, that vocal leader part is something that the Lakers do need. I just don't know if Mark Jackson would have the patience with this team based upon all the egos and all the former superstars on this team and how the team is and just how the front office is and how the media is tearing down the front office and the front office is tearing down the team and LeBron James is basically, tearing down the team himself. So he keeps making these vows. Oh, we're vowed to make the playoffs. Like he said last year, we vowed to, we apologize to Lakers fans. We're going to play better going forward. And they didn't even make the play-in tournament. See what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of talk and no action. And this is why I said I think Mark Jackson just stay where he is. Stay on the commentary team until another job opens up and go apply for that one, because at least you'll go to a situation where it's less BS, less drama, and you ain't got to deal with an attitude like LeBron James, who is really a cancer to a team right now because he's really not helping. He can't carry a team anymore. So back in the day, a lot of people said, he had, drama with him and all those things, but at least he was strong enough to carry a team and he was young enough to do it. So him winning championships overrided all that stuff. But now that he can't carry a team, he's being exposed more and more as a drama king more than anything else, because his game ain't doing the talking the way it used to. He's still putting up good numbers, but who cares about good numbers if you can't even make a play-in tournament? All that was just a bunch of empty calories. So, me personally, I'm interested to see who gets that coaching job or who wants to even take the opportunity to get it. Because really, when you look at the stats, when you look at everything laid out in its totality, what is the point? What is the point? That's like I said, that's why Shaq made the joke. He would coach the Lakers for $25 million a year, something that no coach in the NBA makes a year, which, it's unheard of probably because, it's basically a joke, because it's like, that's how terrible this team is. You need to take $25 million a year to coach this team with all that's going on with this team. You need that to stay sane to coach them. So it's like, it's just a bunch of memes around this team. A bunch of underachieving and very, very disappointing outing for this team. I did at least think they would make the play-in tournament, but they didn't. And I think I was overly shocked like the rest of the NBA world and hell, rest of the sports world, really, because how is it the Lakers can't even make the playoffs? I mean, good gracious. I mean, even Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, he missed the playoffs a couple times in his career on the back end, but I think Kobe Bryant would have made the playoffs probably if there was a such thing as a play-in tournament when he played. There was no such thing as a play-in tournament when Kobe Bryant played. I mean, hell, if he had that opportunity, he would have never missed it in his prime, out of his prime. It wouldn't even have mattered. Now you have a second opportunity to make the playoffs as a 9th or 10th seed going into a play-in tournament, and the Lakers can't even do that. So, and Frankie V, he wasn't the worst coach in the world. Let's just get that clear. He wasn't the worst coach in the world. I mean, they just won a championship with him like 2 years before that. So how was he actually the problem? If you just won a championship with this guy 2 years removed, 2 seasons removed from this one, how was he the problem? He was not the problem. I mean, he was a part of the problem, yeah, but he wasn't the problem. Firing him isn't going to make the team better. The team is still going to probably play the same next year if they have a mediocre coach who doesn't know how to coach the way Frankie V can. Frankie V is known for defense, but Frankie V can't teach Carmelo Anthony to play defense because he's too old. Carmelo Anthony never knew how to play defense when he was born. He never knew how to play defense when he was in high school. He never knew how to play defense in any sport, any college or anything. That's not Carmelo Anthony. Trevor Ariza, he can't play defense the way he used to. He's older now. LeBron James can't play the way he used to. They're just older. Their bodies are breaking down. So it wasn't Frankie V's fault that they couldn't play defense. They just was too old to actually go out there and move their feet. And then you got players like Dwight Howard. He's not a defensive player he used to be. I mean, he's still a big body. He's still a tree branch, you know what I'm saying, in the paint. But, he can't move. He's not mobile the way he was. The man had like 2 back surgeries. And then Anthony Davis can't never stay on the court. So really, he's a worse player than Dwight Howard, if you ask me, because he could put up all these numbers and points and show promise. But your best ability is availability, and he's never available. And then Russell Westbrook is the one stuck in the middle, who really doesn't look like he had the step he used to have. And then on top of that, he's saying all the wrong things in the media. He's making himself look like an idiot. And then on top of that, the turnovers that he has per game, I'm not surprised by it, but it really only makes the Lakers an even worse team than what they would have been if they didn't even have a Russell Westbrook, probably, because now LeBron's starting to turn the ball over. So it's like Russell Westbrook's, some of his tendencies are wearing off on other players just because he's a part of the system, just because he's a part of the team. You know what I'm saying? They always say you're a product of your environment. Well, it's really starting to show in Lakerland. So I'm interested to see what coach really wants to take this position and what coach is going to actually, accept the challenge, because I tell you, I wouldn't take it for anything. I would probably just stay where I am if I'm a coach, or any one of those candidates that I just named that has an opportunity to get the coaching job. I think I would just stay where they are, because I don't think they would be ready for the LA Hollywood drama and having this team look so bad, losing and not accomplishing anything. Like Nick Nurse, like I said, just him, for example, him on the Toronto Raptors, they don't have Kawhi Leonard anymore. They're not going to accomplish anything as a team, but you're not going to accomplish anything with the Lakers if you go there, because like I said, what do you have? You can be a good voice, you could be a good leader, you could be a good coach. But you can't teach those players how to play defense because they're too old. They can't move their feet. And that's the Lakers' biggest problem. They could score, but they can't stop nobody. And if you can't stop nobody, you're not winning championships. So unless the Lakers revamp their whole roster and get a bunch of, some more fresh legs in there, some younger guys around some of the few core older guys, that's the only way the Lakers might actually be able to do something. But I don't see it happening no time soon. And I don't know if they can get off Russell Westbrook's contract. So it looks like it's just a lose-lose situation. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Khaliis out.